Hi there, I'm back. They do that frequently. They control my phone, so when I say stuff that's really sensitive, they cut it off. So where we're going is I want to tell you the risk I'm taking, like I said, is to be honest with you and throw it out there that, yeah, I am suicidal now. And the Vancouver police have put me here. How have they put me here? So let me recap. I've said this video before, so I might repeat something, so just bear that in mind. On November 22nd, the Vancouver police violently assaulted me in downtown Vancouver. They will not investigate who did it, although I found out that they had paid some man to do it as a hired professional. They inserted something, they did several things that day. They assaulted me, but they also put something in my head to track where I'm going. There's something here. There's two people that have verified that there's something in that was put in a hole that was made from the assault. We got more Illuminati here. You can see right there, they're passing by. They don't want you to report on any of this and let the truth be known. So the Vancouver police assaulted me that day. They took away my library card, which was a death knell for me. It only closed off all access to all their computer systems and their Wi-Fi citywide. It took away a warm, safe place for me to go and relax during the day. They made me homeless, of course. That siren is the Illuminati. They've actually now caught a plane up there. This is what they do to me. They actually have, in Whitehorse, if you remember, they had an actual helicopter come and threaten me while I was standing panhandling outside the Kentucky Fried Chicken. So what's happened is they took away my library card, which, why would the police be involved in the library card in the first place? So they did that to cut off all my internet access and isolate me on the street so that they could stalk me 24 hours a day. They had unrestricted control. I have tried to get accommodation here. I have lived on the street now. I've slept every night outside on the street in the winter since Christmas Eve. I've gone to shelters, I've gone to the Salvation Army, I've gone to hostels, I've gone everywhere, and every place does not have a bed. Surprisingly, they're all full, despite the cities we know being completely empty of humans since the Great Water Apocalypse of May of 2016. They've cut off all my ability to sleep anywhere. I'm starving to death now. I literally am starving every hour. I'm just so hungry. I haven't eaten properly since Christmas. I'm starving. I have no place to go. I have no shelter. They have stolen, the Toronto police stole all my clothes right before I left Toronto in August. And just about 2 weeks ago, I was up Grouse Mountain. Halfway down the mountain, a rescue team had to be called to bring me down the mountain on a stretcher. Over 40 people were involved in that effort. During that, the Vancouver police, a couple of days before, they stole my winter coat. And while I was being carried down the mountain on a stretcher, they actually stole one of my shoes, if you could believe it. They then said that I was a mental case and put me in a hospital overnight without putting in an admission form, oddly enough. They refused to give me my shoe back and told me to walk 3 blocks down the street to a store and buy a brand new pair of shoes. I had no money, so they've given me these hospital shoes. If you can see them in the camera, I've been walking around for the past 2 weeks and they laugh at me. They drive by and laugh at me and in walking around Vancouver in these hospital shoes because they stole them and I have no money. Speaking of driving by and mocking me, I haven't seen my sister since August 20th, 25th of 2014 when the Toronto and Peel police stole her from me. I have not been able to have contact with her. I don't know where she is, but the Vancouver police about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, drove by in a car one night and rolled down the window while I was panhandling on the side of the street and said that they knew where my sister was and laughed at me and drove away. So they know where she is, but they won't tell me. The RCMP did that same thing on Christmas Eve. They told me they know where she is. They refused to pass on a message and refused to give me information. But just trust everything's okay, they said. They refused to help me. When I was at the hospital after I was brought down from Grouse Mountain on the stretcher, the Vancouver Police Department officer refused again. I asked her, please help me find my sister, give her a message, give me contact information, and she outright just refused. She said, no, I will not help you. Where we are now then is I'm suicidal. Are we surprised? I've only attempted it once when the Toronto police acting with my friend Robert Bell, who was forced into doing this, tried to attempt suicide on January the 20th, 2014. That was my life's sole attempt. I did attempt it, and the Toronto police showed up 8 hours later and gave me a ticket for, well, this was, keep in mind, I was in the hospital after being rushed there by ambulance. 8 hours later, Toronto police gave me a ticket for trespassing on hospital property. They gave me a ticket because I decided to stay alive that night, and rather than killing myself, I stopped that. I circumvented it. So I got ticketed for staying alive, basically. That was the cost. A $65 ticket was the cost for staying alive. I've pointed this out before. The ambulance here, they want me to commit suicide as well. They drive by and they mock me with pizza boxes and laugh at me, and they're hoping I commit suicide as well. They're just dying for it. Where we are now, I'm taking the risk then. So let's sum this all up. I am suicidal now. It's not a surprise. I sleep on the street every night. I'm freezing to death. I have no clothes. I have no money. I have to panhandle to beg for coffee to stay at a coffee shop every night. My sister, everyone knows where she is, but they won't let me see her. Just to be miserable and cruel beyond control. Where are we? Well, if you were in this situation and you had a bunch of crazy cops with guns trying to murder you, you might be suicidal as well. I don't need a hospital. I don't need a doctor. I don't need a drug. I don't need to be restrained. I don't need my cigarettes taken away from me to torture me more in a hospital, even though you might claim that you're trying to help me when you're really just trying to torture me more. What I need is some food and a bed and some freedom and peace of mind and my sister. If I reunited with my sister, my thoughts of suicide would disappear overnight. I don't need medical attention. I need my sister. It is my charter right to freely associate on Canadian soil as a Canadian citizen with anyone, but I'm not allowed that right, so I'm being violated. The situation is extremely sad. You know, I cry almost every hour now. I just will walk down the street and I'll just start crying. I'll be buying a donut and I'll just start crying. I'll be crossing the street stop sign and I'll just start crying. It's not normal. I cry almost every hour now. This is a sign of extreme depression, and not surprisingly, I'm suicidal. And I'm suicidal because I have a sister that I love that I fear I'll never see again, and that causes me to be depressed. I don't know when this is going to stop. What I do want to state openly, without reservation, is that the Vancouver Police Department are guilty of attempted murder, they're guilty of criminal activities, and they're guilty of attempting to drive an innocent Canadian civilian to attempt to kill himself. They should all be locked up. I will hate the Vancouver Police Department as long as I live. I wish to never see you. I think you are scum. I think that you all should have your guns removed from you immediately. You're a threat to every form of life on this planet. And the Vancouver Police Department should be completely razed to the ground and rebuilt from scratch. It is pure evil. It is predatory. It is a threat to Canadian life. Um, Felix, thank you for your advice. You gave me courage today to step out and say, yes, I'm suicidal today. I'm suicidal every day now, and this is the reason why. This is the solution to stop this, and let's see if anyone acts on that. I don't need a hospital. I don't need a doctor. I don't need Valium. I don't need to be restrained. I need my sister back. That would change my life immediately. The Vancouver police, for the first time in 4 years, have driven me to have suicidal thoughts again. They should be arrested and thrown in jail today themselves. Uh, I'm not wanting to commit suicide, and I pray to Jesus that the thoughts go away. But if you're being starved and forced to live on the streets in freezing cold with no clothing, and your sister's taken away from you, you might be a little suicidal too. Have a good day. This is David Sullivan Nesbitt. This is now going to be in 2 parts, but it's finally done, and it's the truth, and it needs to be done. Where is My Canada is guided by one pivotal philosophy. Of course, I just forget it the second. No, I'll get it. This is not a beauty contest for me. I want your support. I want you to like me because it'll be better for me and better for Where's My Canada. But Where's My Canada will never venture from what it perceives to be the truth. My duty, the fundamental philosophy that everyone should always remember, My duty with Where's My Canada is to document and record everything that happens to me. Whatever risk that entails, whether I get thrown in a hospital or a jail or whatever happens, my duty always is to document and record everything that happens to me so that future generations can learn exactly what happened in Nazi Canada. I'm David Sullivan Nesbitt, and this is going to be Fireside Chats number 8. And hope a good day. I'm going to try to get some coffee, try to scrounge up some more money for some coffee, and I'm going to try to sit out in the sun. It would be great if someone finally helps me in this country. The police all across Canada have let me down, both human and clone. You have not protected me. You have not helped me. You know where my sister is, and you're doing nothing about it. As a result of your actions and your callousness and lack of duty to your job, I am now suicidal. I don't need a doctor. I need my sister. Have a great day.